Hi everyone. So after a few months of just not coloring at all, I finally picked up a coloring book and started coloring this month. And so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do a what I've colored in June, since I haven't really been active on YouTube yet, mostly just Instagram. Some of you have seen these pictures over on Instagram. I've still been posting them, but for those of you that just follow YouTube, this will be your first time seeing them. As you can see, I have coloring books here. I also have my coloring assistant, Sidonia's butt. It's a fluffy butt. Yes. Okay, apparently she got mad. Oh, I touched her. That's what it was. I acknowledged her. And there's cat hair everywhere. That's good old summer for you. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get started. So, don't know what really got me going there around maybe, I think it was the 10th of June or something, but I just wanted to grab some markers, and I grabbed this, which I hadn't had a chance to color in yet. I own a lot of Christine Karen's. I own well, not a lot, but I have quite a few of her PDF downloads. I just haven't printed any of them out. So I figured this would be a good time to try one. And this is one I colored out of this book, which is The Coloring Heaven Woodland Fairies, as you saw. Sorry, I am a little rusty after, what, 3 months almost, I think? Something like that. This was done using different alcohol markers. Usually when I say various alcohol markers, my go-tos are my Prismacolor markers, my Blick Studios, and my Copics. They're pretty much right here in the center of my desk, and they're the first ones that I gravitate towards. And I think I used all three of those in this, and then took a gel pen just around the border of it. Nothing super fancy. Didn't really, this is my first jump into coloring in 2 months. I just wanted to put some marker to paper, and I was really happy with how it turned out. So there's that one. Oh, now she gives me a little more room. Well, bully to you. One of my favorite coloring books, the Wicked Plants coloring book, 40 Botanical Atrocities to Color and Keep. This is should be no surprise to some of you that have been watching this channel for a while that I tend to gravitate towards some wacky coloring books every now and then. I've only colored one in here so far, and I'm going to try to work my way front to back, and I'm going to try to use my Black Widow pencils because, of course, that seems fitting, right, for the subject matter. So the one I did, I think, might have been April, was this one. And then I worked on this one this month. And I'm not going to try to pronounce these. What I like about this book is it gives a name of the type of what it is on this side and a little bit more description of it. So did that using Black Widow pencils. This is a really fun book. I like it a lot. This is the one I want to do next, which is actually the front cover. So I might pick some of the colors here. I might go a little darker, a little brighter. I haven't decided yet. This was supposed to be a color along month for me, Gaga for Grayscale, and of course that didn't really happen. I've been kind of casually following it on Instagram once I started coloring again, but I haven't really held to it. Of course, we haven't done any videos for it this month. I'm hoping next year I will feel more. I mean, we could really do it any month, so I don't know, maybe later in the year I'll feel like doing it 1 month. But anyway, I jumped into Light and Dark Fantasy Grayscale by Jade Summer. John at the Bibliophile Colors also did a Jade Summer color along this month with Shalene from the Coloring Book Nook and Color Creatively. Hopefully I didn't get that mixed up with somebody. I think that's right. But anyway, we all know I love my Jade Summer books. They were some of the first ones that I colored in, and so I, of course, wanted to participate in that. Again, I just grabbed various markers for this. I think I even threw some shuttle arts in here as well for this one. I would say if I say I use alcohol markers, shuttle art, Cali art, Copic, well, that's more than I thought it would be. There's about 5 different brands that I use on a pretty consistent basis, and I do have my Bics and my Sharpies. I usually get those out when I'm coloring like on the couch or something, and I don't want to drag all my other stuff out. So here's that one. Another Jade Summer book, Kawaii Grayscale. This is actually a recent purchase for me. My coloring budget is really all over the place now because I haven't really been buying very much these past few months, but I did go ahead and get this coloring book because I wanted another Jade Summer Grayscale, and I do not have I think I have the digital version of the Kawaii book beforehand, but I obviously didn't have the grayscale version, so I did this one. Same markers, and this time I actually threw in a little bit of white gel pen. I'm still nervous to use mine, and I see a couple spots that I should have used it too. And see, that's what I do. I'll go back over these, and I'm like, I need to grab a pen, and I need to fix it now. Oh, well, Sid's finally tired of my mess, and she's going along. Sorry, Sid. You can come back. I'll give you pettins later. They get pettins all the time. Don't feel sorry for them. She does this to me every morning at work anyway, sure enough. About the time I'm ready to get started really getting into work, here she comes. So she knows what she's doing. So I've had a whip in this one for months. And I had started using my Arteza Real Brush pens, and it kind of sat there for a long time, and then I started kind of just picking it up and doing a little bit at a time this month, and actually finished it off. If you're not familiar with the Color It books, these are fantastic for markers and probably watercolor too. I don't think I've really tried the watercolor too much in them, but the paper in this is really you can use colored pencils in it too, but if you really like blending marker and stuff, this is a good ideal paper to do that with. I was really happy. Actually, I think I did try like using some of the water on these a while back, like on a tester page. They did okay, if I recall now. So here is the one I finished. And this was done using the Arteza Real Brush pens, some Tombos. The Tombos were interesting because I found that they blend well, but like I used a really light Tombow for the background, and I noticed that it got a little smeary. That was the only one, and I think that was just because I wasn't really sure how. A, I don't use my Tombos very much, and B, I haven't used them on this type of paper. So I think that was more user error than the markers themselves. I used some of those down here in the flowers, and they did beautifully. So that was just me. But I used the Artezas, the Tombos, and then I used, I think it was a lot of the Blick and Prismacolor markers to get a lot of these neutral tones in the stone and everything, and it turned out really neat. I was very proud of myself for actually finishing this one. A lot of times I get overwhelmed by a busier page like this, and if I actually really sit down and just knock it out a little bit at a time, it goes by very quickly, and my brain just hasn't learned that yet. So this is probably what I would consider my last page for June. Today is Sunday, June the 30th. I'll probably start another page today, but obviously we'll consider that. That'll go into July, so I wanted to go ahead and get this done today. which I'm sure you saw my earlier video, which hopefully I'm recording them backwards. I'm doing the completed pages first, then I'm doing my other video because my cell phone still needs to charge. So this is Chibi Girls Grayscale. And I did that one a couple months back. I think I did that, there was a Jade Summer in January that I co-hosted, and I think I did this one during that month. And that was with Crayola markers and the super tips and the water-based markers like that. So this is the one I did Thursday, Friday. That sounds about right. Again, using my regular trio of alcohol markers. I don't think I used any Copics in here. I think this was just mostly Blick and Prisma. I love how it turned out. It was the perfect time of year. I just was flipping through wanting to do another grayscale page, and this is the one that jumped out at me, just perfect for this time of year. So I like how colorful it turned out, and I love the color choice I had for her hair. I think it was like a honey color in the Blick Studio markers. Where is it? Honey yellow, I think, is the one I used. And I thought that was just beautiful, and I've got to write that down for the future. So now, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. This is one of Rita Berman's books. It's the only one I have so far, but I certainly want to get more of her books because these are gorgeous. I have been a little intimidated about coloring in it. It is a smaller book, but this month, and this is, I've had my polychromos for probably over a year now, and this is the first picture that I finished using my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils. So I'm super proud of that, and I love how this turned out. And it's a little blurry. Hang on a second. Let me fix that. I just made it worse. Sorry, I am, again, relearning my camera here. Let's just do this. Try it this way. You're like, my eyes, what are you doing? Maybe it's just blurry to me. It may just be my camera. Anyway, so yeah, I used my polychromos on this, and this is great paper for it. I didn't have any problems with anything on the other side, other than the scratch paper I used, but that's another story. That's not related to the pencils themselves. But I just picked colors. When I saw these, I thought of pansies, and so of course I wanted to pick colors that you would assume with pansies, and it just was one of those things where I had the pink and the yellow down, and then everything else just kind of fell in with it, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be coloring more out of these books and getting other books of hers. And finally, I went on a trip with my brother this month to 2 mini games, which I will be talking about in other videos. And while I was gone, I, of course, brought some coloring stuff with me for some of the downtime that I knew we'd have. And this book I just got at the start of June. It's a fairly new release. I actually might do a flip through of this one later this week. And I've seen a couple people post with it. Lulu Mayo, I love her books. She's got 1 million cats, 1 million dogs, 1 million bears, and 1 million owls. I don't have the 1 million dogs, but I've got all the others. And she's got another one coming out, I think, in August, which is 1 million unicorns. So I'm pretty excited. I love her stuff. It's super cute. And weirdly enough, this is, I think, my first double page spread that I've done just solely in pencils. And that's funny because, I mean, I've been coloring for well over a year now, and you'd think I would have been a little more on the ball about these kinds of things. But I'm one of those people, I'm just going to color what I feel when I feel like it. And so when I saw this page, I love the black background, and I wanted to, ooh, that's super shiny. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, that's a little less shiny. It's not ideal, but that'll work for now. Again, got to get used to the lighting. I completed this using Black Widow pencils again, and that was because when I was on the trip, I took my Wicked Plants book, and of course I had to pick and choose what to bring with me because of course I had absolutely no room in my luggage. So I figured, hey, let's see how the Black Widow pencils do on this paper, and I like how they did. I tend to have a heavier hand, so it might get a little mushy for people that tend to um, do that, but I had no problems with anything smearing. I had no problems with it pushing over into the other pages. Like I said, that was due to me using protected paper that already had stuff on it, so it did transfer. So I would say if you have old paper that you use to put behind pages to protect them, I wish I had an example with me. I do somewhere here. So like this page right here, if you have just a blank page with nothing on it, I would say in these books in particular, I would use that. Just use, either if you have a file folder or something like that, anything that's just got a blank surface on it should work fine. I get lazy, and a lot of times I'll use a page a couple times as a protector like this. And one of the things I noticed in this book is that when I did that, the marker that was on this paper transferred to this paper. That's not a big deal for me. I can fix that on this when I do the edging on this, so it's not a huge deal to me, but it is something I want to just give people a heads up on. That's probably, again, more due to my laziness, but if you're like me and you like reusing your material, this book in particular, it will transfer. You can see it some here too where it's transferred, so just keep that in mind if you do that. So I was really pleased with how this turned out. It's funny, I think I use the Black Widow pencils now more than I do any of my others, which I hope to change this next month. I have too many sets of color pencils, which isn't that all of us. And I definitely there's some in particular I really want to branch out into in July, particularly on camera, because I don't see a lot of people doing those in YouTube videos, and I just think it'd be really neat to cover some ones that maybe not so many people are looking at right at this moment. So that was it for June, but hey, I'm coloring again. My plans for July, well, it is an off month for any sort of color along, so just getting back into the groove of things. I don't really have any whips to show this month because if I start one today, I'm just going to count it for July, and all my other whips are ones that may never get finished. I don't know. I'm not trying not to put that much pressure on myself these days. But hopefully I will have another video for y'all next week, and it will actually be a coloring video. So until then, I'll see you guys later, and bye for now.